I'm Mark Tilley from Dirtbike Magazine, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we're getting our first chance to ride the 2027 Yamaha YZ250F. Mike Ulrich standing next to me from Yamaha. All brand new motorcycle almost from the ground up. 450 got a bunch of changes last year. 250, did it get the same changes, or what do we got sitting here in front of us?
Yeah, so basically it got all the changes that the 450 got last year, plus a lot more. Yeah, for this year, big changes, I think across the whole spectrum with all manufacturers is we all have to comply with a new 109 decibel sound limit. To do that, we made a lot of changes. Obviously, when you reduce sound, it also takes away power. For that reason, on the 250F, we developed a brand new engine. Everything in the engine is brand new. Some of the ways we cut the sound were a drastically changed airbox and of course the muffler. It actually produces more power than the previous one now. So that was a big feat, to actually decrease sound and increase power. It has a 700 RPM higher rev limit. It's going to allow you to rev farther, pulling longer, and also a lot of durability changes to the engine. So we took the opportunity to try to look at durability and improve that, especially with a higher rev limit, be a little more durable once people modify the bikes as well. Along with the changes to the motor, a lot of the stuff that carried over from the 450 last year were the chassis changes. So even though the plastics don't look drastically different, it is realistically a brand new motorcycle. So a lot of frame changes to the front end to give the bike a better front end feel, also to give it better bump compliance. It's a little bit stiffer or more rigid in certain areas to give it a sharper feel for the cornering, and then a little bit softer in other areas to make a little bit more of a comfortable chassis going through the bumps. Suspension settings are all new to work with the chassis. Of course, that has to be updated anytime there's rigidity changes made to a chassis. The bike now has a hydraulic clutch. So the airbox itself underneath here has a resonator now, which is what we did with the 450 as well. Obviously, this one's specific to the 250. There's now a resonator that's downline of the filter. The cover is a little bit changed. Some of the venting holes have been repositioned, redirect the sound, both in the cover and the box itself. And there's actually a sound damper on the backside of the cover as well, and it's really made a huge difference. Much more pleasing to ride at high RPMs now. Proud of, rather than losing power along with the sound, we actually made more power and higher revving, longer pulling power.
The 450 in years past has been more of a rear steering dirt bike for my taste. Now the 2026 450 model seems like you can kind of place it in a rut, or for me, I can place it in a rut. It tracks through. Is that the direction you guys went more with the 250 as well?
Yes, same direction as we went with the 450, which we've had great response on and really good feedback. A little more rigid on the down tube. The wall thickness actually of the frame is a little more, so that gives a little more stability to the head tube, gives a little more precise feel coming into the corners and through the corners. Now down here at the engine bracket, the frame is actually a little bit narrower, and that gives the cradle a little more compliance, better absorption feeling through the bumps and choppy sections. There's also a change to the shock tower. It's a little bit more rigid, so less flex out of the rear end, and it really makes the bike feel like it's tracking straighter. So it's the whole bike's moving in one plane and tracking straight. There's also a brand new shock, different shock body, obviously valving, everything else. And then additionally, we went with a brand new rear brake system. It provides really good feel at the pedal and a little bit lighter weight. Even the pedal comes with a replaceable tip.
Pretty much a brand new bike from the ground up, new engine, new chassis, lots of new stuff on this motorcycle. That's enough talking. I'm looking at this Club MX facility. I want to go ride. Stay tuned for our first impression of this motorcycle later on. All right, first day of testing on the 2027 Yamaha 250F. There's so many new things, all new engine. It's got a hydraulic clutch, 109 dB, which right off the bat, I'm a fan of. I'm not a huge fan of the louder version motorcycle. It's definitely a lot quieter. It did maybe lose a little bit of spunk, as you would say, but it's definitely a more enjoyable bike to ride just because of the sound. This bike in previous years, a lot of people kind of say that it has that bottom, and it has really good bottom. And what I've kind of come across in the last couple years is it does have a surge right off bottom. For me, it kind of makes it to where it is a little bit tough for me to corner. The 450 was kind of the same way, but it has that surge right off bottom and then it kind of goes away. That surge is gone now. It's kind of a little bit more of a gradual, kind of a dead feel down low, but it does come on strong in the mid and it revs way higher. It's got finger followers now, kind of like what KTM introduced into the market a while ago, but this is a revving motorcycle now. It's got good mid. It doesn't not have bottom. There is a little bit down there, but you kind of want to get your roll speed going through corners, and you'll definitely notice if you don't have that, if you don't keep up your momentum going through the turns. I found myself using second and third gear longer. It will, just like any motorcycle, it will fall off on top, but this kind of goes longer on top so that you can click up that next gear and it carries that next gear. I was using second and third gear a lot. The facility here at Club MX, it's insane. Definitely like the quieter motorcycle. The bikes in years past, I kind of had to wear earplugs, and I'm not an earplug guy. Motor, I still like it. Really easy to get in and out of corners. It's got that power. The new hydraulic clutch, the pull might be a little bit more stout than what the cable clutch was, but what I found with that cable clutch is I found myself using it too much because it was really easy to pull. The easier it was to pull, the more I used it. I kind of overused it unnecessarily. This thing, where I'm so used to with a hydraulic clutch now that it doesn't feel awkward, really good engagement. It works really well, and you don't have to worry about adjusting on the quick fly or anything like that. So we did check some other maps. The guys here at Yamaha had a map that they felt was maybe a little bit better, and I felt it that it was better through mid. Didn't really over rev on top, but gave it a stronger pull through the mid, but it did take away the bottom. Being a bigger guy, if I did get down in the revs and had to bring it back up, then it made it a little bit tougher to bring it back up. I had to clutch it a little bit more. Using first and second gear, you can use it more. Did get into fourth gear here and on some of the high speed straights. When it comes to handling on this new chassis, I liked when they did the 450. This thing got a lot of the updates that the 450 did. The 450 went from kind of use the power to steer it and use the rear end to steer it. This bike was kind of the same way, maybe a little bit of a vague front end feel, but this bike to me has a lot more planted front end feel. I can feel it when I'm going. I drop it in a rut, it stays in a rut, and it just overall for me, I like this new chassis. It just kind of gives you that confidence in the front end. We did kind of mess around with some settings, you know, slid the forks up, slid the forks down. I actually slowed the rebound down in the back, but I personally like my bike's a little bit more of a dead feel in the back. Was between 103, 104, 105, right in there. It definitely is clicker sensitive, just slowing the clickers down in the rear just a little bit. The other thing that we did is speed up the clickers in the front, in the fork. Some of that stuff did make it feel better, make me feel a little bit more confident, but honestly, I went back to the stock settings. I went back to the stock settings that the R&D team set this thing up, and I was really comfortable pretty much all day on the stock settings. So I think it's gonna be really close dyno-wise. I think it's gonna make about the same amount of power. It might be down a little bit because of the 109 dB sound regulations. Yamaha does have a lot of aftermarket parts available through GYTR. FMF, I believe, was a partner with them, that there is some FMF stuff that will be available right away. They did have a GYTR bike here with airbox mods and airbox lid, an ignition cover, a clutch cover, and then some chain adjusters and some little kind of bling things. So that's kind of cool that you can get those. They should be available through GYTR or your local Yamaha dealer. One thing that we did find out is that the clutch cover and ignition covers, I believe, the GYTR guys told us that it is is the same as the 450. So that was kind of interesting, but a lot of that stuff available already. Overall, I think this is a improved version from the 2026 model. Quieted it down, made it rev a little bit more, gave it a little bit more mid-range, and then the chassis, for me personally, I like the new chassis a lot more. Front end traction and front end feel. It did gain a little bit of weight. I think it was about 3 pounds, but you don't really notice that out there. It's not like we're going, oh yeah, I can feel those 3 pounds. So that's our first impression of the 2027 Yamaha YZ250F. We're gonna do a lot more testing on this bike. We're gonna put this bike up against some of the other bikes in the class that have changed. But if you got a little bit more time on your hands and you wanna check out, you wanna stay up to date with what we're doing, don't forget to subscribe. And then if you wanna check out some of the other stuff that we've done recently, hit that video thumbnail now, and I'll see you next time.